Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Vangme manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishtitam aviravirmayedhi vedasya ma'ani isthah shrutam me ma praha asirani nadhite naho ratran sandadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ओम्. So we are in 6th chapter of Panchadashi, and we have covered about 50, but to start with, otherwise, the thread is lost. So then, to make it relevant, we have to recapitulate the thread. Don't we? So idea is, this is Chitradeepa. Chitradeepa means taking a picture, how it is illumined. That was the example taken. And then the second thing is that this avidya, because of this avidya, nescience, we identify with something which we are not. Therefore, we must explore why and what happens. So we have already identified, of course, we have heard and studied earlier also, that avidya has got two powers. One is covering power and one is projecting power. It covers up its nature and then it projects something else. The stock example is the rope and snake. We see a snake on a rope, or we see water in mirage. Though there is no water, but sense comes. And when we bring light, then our misunderstanding or ajnana, ignorance, is removed. So one is covering power, and second is power of projection. Now these are defined to make us understand, so that we can explore what happens, why we confuse ourselves as a body or body-mind complex. Most of the time we think we are bodies, and other times we think that we are body-mind complex. Though we know it is not, we are not that. But somehow this chit and jada granthi, that combination or say knot of this consciousness and unconsciousness, though there is nothing called unconsciousness, but still we have that experience. That is why most of the time we confuse ourselves, thinking that I am body. Anything happens to my body or mind, we conceive that it is happening to us. So by discrimination, when we can separate these two, then only we identify a real self. And mind it, though we depend on logic, but logic is not illuminator. It is our intuitive knowledge. It is our intuitive knowledge that reveals. Logic will make us understand this is the fallacy. Only the intuitive knowledge, that's why we need to pray. The intuitive knowledge that reveals. Tatra jnanam dhyanashet abhasena ghataspurit. Ajnana, ignorance, is removed by what? Say we see a book or a picture. When we see something like a picture or a book, what happens? There is something we don't know. Then all of a sudden we know. So what happens? The ignorance is removed and it flourishes. It illumines itself. So tatra ajnanam, the ignorance is removed. Removed from where? From our understanding, dhiya, intelligence. So we have this confusion in our intelligence. Therefore, it should be removed from our intelligence. Where is this confusion? It's not in the self, and it's not in the material also. We have a confusion in our mind, in our intellect. So through intellect, we remove this. It's like removing a thorn by another thorn, and then we have to throw away both. Because ultimately, intelligence is not also the revealer. Revealer is the self that we are already. But since this ignorance comes, we have to remove this ignorance. Therefore, we need to understand what is this power of covering in our intellect, and what is the power of projecting in our intellect. That is why we are here, the author is going threadbare, so that all our confusion regarding this covering power and projecting power is removed. So with this introduction, let us now go forward. Hope I am clear. Intelligence is not cause of our illumination. Intelligence is to remove confusion that is in intelligence. Or intellect, rather, not intelligence, rather we call it intellect, buddhi. Tatra ajnanam dhiya nashet abhasena ghataspurit. So the ignorance is removed from our intellect, and it is the illumination that comes. So even these words that we are speaking, this is in our intellect. We are trying intellect as an instrument to remove ignorance from our intellect. So, and author is doing that same thing. So with this introduction, let us go forward. So two words were discussed. One is ahamta, swayamta, and atman and swayam. So what sense it is taken? So let us start from there. So we'll read so that we are connected with the thought process. So doubt, self merely excludes the idea of another and does not say anything about Kutastha. So reply, this exclusion of others, that means, say when I say Swayam, I am, Swayam, Aham. That means it is negating all other things. So the reply is this exclusion of others is the self of Kutastha. Kutastha means anvil, which never changes. Now, this never changing, it is within our experience. Nainam chinnanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, na chainam kledayantapa, na shoshayati marta, achedvayam adajyam akledva shushya nitya sarvagata sthanu achalovayam sanatan in Bhagavad Gita. So what is the point? It is eternal, it is unchanging, it is all pervading. So this is that self. Nitya, Sarvagata, Sthanu. It is unmoving. It is like it cannot move. Where to move? There is no other space. Achalu ayam Sanatana. It is eternal. So this is our self. If this is our self, so when we say Swayam, Aham, Swayam means this self, then it only the doubter says it only removes the possibility of others. Self merely excludes the idea of another and does not say anything about Kutastha. So, reply says, this exclusion of others is the self of Kutastha. Why? Because when we say others are removed, what remains? It is the self. And Kutastha means unchanging. So therefore, this is in our favor. Exclusion of other ideas, other entities, other existences. So this is in our favor. Why should we? Therefore, when it is for our favor, we'll keep it. This exclusion of others is the self of Kutastha. So exclusion is in favor of our idea. So now, people ordinarily use self and Atman as synonymous terms, and so forth. And so both terms are never used together. In fact, each of these terms excludes the idea of another. So this is synonymous. People ordinarily use self and Atman as synonymous terms. And so both terms are never used together. No, not required. Even if it is used, that does not matter. In fact, each of these terms excludes the idea of another. Now, doubt comes. We often use such expressions as the pot itself does not know. Pot itself does not know. Ghataha swayam na janati. So now this doubt has come. Here the word self is applied to an inanimate object. Now reply. Such language is used because Atman is the basis of the inanimate objects also. You know how it happens. When we see a picture, what happens? Where is the picture reflected or conceived or perceived? It is on the self, in and through self. Or see, you are seeing me, how I am illumined. It's because of light. So it is the light of self. It is the light of self that illumines. It is not picture that is illumined. So here the word self is applied to an inanimate object. Now reply. Such language is used because Atman is the basis of the inanimate objects also. No, what is it? Why, how we know? We say this animal, or this is a human being, or this is a computer, or this is a table. All are illumined by the self. So it is being said there. Atman is the basis of the inanimate objects also. Now, Chetana achatana bhida kutastha atmakrita nahi. Kimtu buddhikrita abhasa kritai vetya avagamyatam. It is not the immutable kutastha or Atman which makes the difference between the animate and inanimate. It is the jiva, the reflection of kutastha in the intellect, which makes the difference. See, what is the meaning? Through intellect we know, oh, this is living, this is animating. So this is, though, see, nowadays robot is there. And it interacts like human being. But still through intellect we know, oh, this is robot. And that's why you say artificial intelligence. So all our perceptions are based, analyzed, and recognized through our intellect. In presence of self, of course, in presence of self. See, we are studying in presence of light. So light is not affected. But because of the light, this is illuminated. So it is not the immutable kutastha or Atman which makes the difference between the animate and the inanimate. It is the jiva. What is the jiva? Reflection of kutastha in the intellect. See, where is our understanding? I am so and so. Where is our understanding? It is our inner intellect. How we know? Okay, go to sleep. And Vedanta has got, power of a great sleep. So go to sleep. You forget about this whole identity. But still you are there. Now go to deep sleep. You totally forget even that you exist, but you exist. How you know? Because when we come out, then we narrate our experience that, I slept so very well. So this experience means we have experienced, though we don't have the identity that I am this and this, I am so and so. So this is the evidence. It is not the immutable kutastha or Atman which makes the difference between the animate and inanimate. It is the jiva, the reflection of kutastha in the intellect, which makes the difference. So intellect makes the difference. Akshay, is it okay?
Like in robots, the robot is animate or inanimate.
What do you think?
But it is interacting.
Though interacting, but it is animating. But how you know that it is inanimate?
Because we have made it.
Not only that, your intellect says so. You see, like in front of you, there is a computer. And you are seeing this, the picture of this class and etc., right? So all the perceptions that is happening through our intellect. And intellect is not our real being. How we know? Because we see intellect also disappears in our dream, in our deep sleep, deep sleep. That means in that state, we don't perceive. But what we perceive that time, that is self-awareness. In the self-awareness, objects are not present. But when we are awake, then objects are present. And not only objects are present, my identity appears what I am not. So all these are happening in our intellect. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is, how we know it is animate or inanimate or anything. It is in and through our intellect. Intellect is available because of our self, because of Atman, because of Kutastha. Okay, we go forward. यथा चेतन आभासः कूटस्थे भ्रांति कल्पितः अचेतने घटादिश्च तथा तत्रैव कल्पितः. So same thing. Just as the conscious jiva is created by illusion based on kutastha. See, we are animate. But this perception or perception of this present state is because of kutastha. Kutastha means Atman, self. Because of this, all our perceptions happening. Even this idea that I am so and so, I am Akshay, I am David. So this idea comes because of our intellect. Intellect is in the presence of self, that is there. Just as the conscious jiva is created by illusion based on kutastha, even so on it the inanimate objects are created by avidya. Avidya means, again, avidya means not knowing things correctly. We have some knowledge, but we confuse. It is not existence that something called avidya exists. No. It is only not knowing correctly. That's what we call nescience. But when knowledge dawns, then all these various ideas disappear. As we bring light, snake disappears. Similarly, when knowledge dawns that I am the self, then all other things disappears. You see, like this. As of now, we are studying Panchadashi. So all other things have gone. But when you open radio, then you know about, oh, what is happening in Ukraine and what is happening in Gazapatti. So all kinds of things. So all these appearance and disappearance happen in our intellect, not in kutastha. Okay. And also this conscious jiva also in our intellect, that I am a conscious being, this idea, oh, I'm talking to Akshay, I'm talking to David, all these ideas are happening in our intellect. So our identity is also in our intellect. In our deep sleep, we don't remember. And therefore, that is not in the self. Okay. Now we go to the next. Tatte dante api swatvam iva tvam ahamadishu sarvatraanugavate tena tayor apyatma teti chet. Iti chet. So doubt. Like the word self, the words this and that can be applied to all persons, I and he, etc. It is therefore reasonable to conclude that the objects denoted by this and that are also the Atman. So this is the doubt. What is the doubt? Now in the self. Tat te. Tedante. Tat ante tedante. Tat tedante. That with this and that. Api swatvam iha tvam ahamadishu tvam you myself. So like the word self, the words this and that can be applied to all persons, like this person, that person's, I and he, etc. I am, he is. It is therefore reasonable to conclude that the objects denoted by this and that are also the Atman. So when I say, okay, like this and that, so this is Atman. Like the word self, the words this and that, say like self, I'm the self, I'm the Atman. If we say this, then the doubter says that then this and that, because this self is also, you are using a word, why not this and that also could to be included in this? In this is self and that is self. This and that no doubt refer to self, but in this is solidity, that is non-intelligence, they refer to not self. In fact, these are the terms of wider denotation. Now, the Siddhanti, the reply comes. Siddhanti means the person who is answering. So here teacher himself poses questions and answers them. This and that do not refer only to I and he. This and that refers to many things. This mic, that table, that camera. So this is not only related to the self. So this and that do not refer only to I, you, and he as distinct entities, but also to Atman. This is the common element in them all. They are like correctness, incorrectness, etc., not synonymous with Atman, because they are of wider denotation. That means these are for indication. This, so I am Atma, Brahman. This Atman is Brahman. Neha nanasti kinchana. Here there are not many. So this and that is a common denominator. Now, tattadante swatanyatve twantahante parasparam pratidanditaya loke prasiddhe nasti samshaya. Now, one thing is opposing factors. Okay, first let us read the shloka, translation of shloka. Besides the ideas of this and that, the self and the other, you and I, are opposite pairs. It is well known in society. There is no doubt about that. Now, one thing here, pratidvanditaya. Pratidvandya means it is opposing each other. In Nyaya, they have like a picture is made. So before picture was made, there was absence of picture. So as soon as the presence of pitcher or pitcher is made, it destroys the absence. So this is theoretical, of course. The absence of pitcher is destroyed by presence of pitcher. So this is called pratidvandi, means opposing each other. One cannot exist in presence of other. So here, this is also pratidanditaya loke prasiddhe. What is that? This and that. This means here, that means there. And then similarly, I and you or he. So means it is indicative. Indicative. I, you are opposing pairs. It is well known in society. There is no doubt about that. So this is well known, but still it is to be clarified so that we know logically. Now, अन्यतायाः प्रतिद्वंद्वी स्वयं कूटस्थे इष्यताम्. अन्यतायाः प्रतिद्वंद्वी स्वयं कूटस्थ इष्यताम्. त्वान्तायाः प्रतियोगी योग्येषु अहम् इत्यात्मनि कल्पितः. The opposite of the other is the self, which is the same as the kutastha. The opposite of you, however, is I, which is the egoism, the jiva, which is superimposed on kutastha. Okay, let us. The opposite of the other is the self. See, when I'm opposing all other things, I am not the body, I am not the mind, or not the intellect, I am not the Anandamaya kosha. I am not this Annamaya kosha. I am not the vital forces. So food. I am not this Annamaya kosha. I am not the Pranamaya kosha. I am not the Manomaya kosha. I am not the Vijnanamaya kosha, and I am not the Anandamaya kosha. Then when I negate all others, what remains? It is kutastha. So the opposite of the other is the self, which is the same as the kutastha. The opposite of you, however, is I. So it is not kutastha. It is the, say, in our intellect. It is in our intellect, which is the egoism, the jiva, which is superimposed on kutastha. Okay. Should we go forward? Yes. Okay. Anyway, it is better to hear than all of a sudden you'll be illuminated. Oh my God, it is there already. Okay. As the distinction between silver and this is clear, so also the difference between I and self. But see, like I am so and so. I'm Akshay. I'm David. And self exclude all other, even not I. So this is what is being said. As the distinction between silver and this is silver. This is different than silver. Silver is different than this. Is clear. So also the difference between I and self. I am self. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. So this I is, like all, that's why we need to need to, that means Shrodhana. Shrodhana means purification. What the real mean I? And what the real meaning here? Brahman. Tvat tvam asi. Tat tvam asi. Thou art that. What is the real meaning of tat? What is the real meaning of tvam? It is not the word. It is the self behind tat, and it's the self behind tvam. That is unified. So what we have to do, we are to shodhana. Shodhana means purification of this. So that is why it is being said this way. So this is silver. So this is different. We understand that. I and self also different. The people in the grip of delusion identify I with the immutable self. This is the problem. When I say I am Akshay, I am David, that means what? I'm identifying my real self with this jiva. Jiva means with all impressions, past impressions, tendencies, and it's a good, bad, whatever. So this is the identification of self with jiva, I. So Atman is being identified with body-mind complex. Okay. As the distinction between silver and this is clear, so also the difference between I and self. But the people in the grip of delusion identify I with the immutable self. Okay. Anyway, we'll go forward. Tadrik, that the superimposition causing the identity of I and self is caused by nescience has already been treated. Already we have gone through that the superimposition of I on the self, that is tadatmya adhyas, and that's already done in 19 to 34 verses. So tadatmya adhyas. What is tadatmya adhyas? Like two mirrors are placed. So image of one another, we can see it. So it reflects one another image. So see, the light is falling on me. I am also emitting some light. That's why you can see me. So this, and some of that light also is going back to light. Tadatmya adhyas. We have already discussed that. Eva atra purvak ta avidya krita. So it is made by avidya, ignorance. Again, ignorance is not a thing. It is not a magic. It is a state in which we confuse ourselves. Why we confuse? When we are not alert. If we are alert, then avidya cannot touch us. So to become alert, what is alertness? Viveka, which can distinguish what is what. What is this self? What is non-self? What is this aham? What that ego? And what is the basis of that ego? What is that kutastha? If one can understand this, he is alert. And if one is alert, then avidya cannot touch him. Apparently, this body will remain. So body will remain, but he's detached. You know, it is like this. You're driving a car and you have clutch. Clutch is that which transfers energy to the wheel. But while driving, you lift your clutch. So what happens? It is detached. But still car runs. Why it runs? Because of the previous momentum. So momentum can show that, oh, car is running. Similarly, this body is running. But the clutch is detached. Similarly, a person who has got illumination may appear that he is behaving like normal human being. Say apparently Sri Ramakrishna, let us take the example, Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is laughing, joking, everything like that. But all of a sudden he merges in the self. So in his case, what happens? He brings this idea of ahamta, mamata, etc. He drags, as it were. It wants to go all the time, but he brings it for his compassion for us. So out of compassion, he brings his mind back to this world. So this is the case of incarnation. What happens to the ordinary aspirant when he gets illumination? For him, he knows his real self, but still his body functions. Why it functions? Because of previous momentum. We'll discuss that. The previous momentum is we have three kinds of karma phala. So three kind of karma and karma phala. So what are those? One is prarabdha, what is being spent out. One is sanchita. Sanchita means accumulated. And kriyamana. Kriyamana means what is being done. So what happens? Say we are talking, we are understanding, listening. This is kriyamana karma. But I have my background. What is that karma? Why it has happened? Because of our prarabdha. Prarabdha means what is being utilized. A business term we can understand. A person does business. How? He has some running money, this current account. So he invests that money, say $100,000. So that's his present capital, and that is kept in current account. So he spends, he earns, he deposits. So this is current account. But something is accumulated that he saves, saving account, or we can say he has invested somewhere. And third, he is doing business. He'll earn some profit. Where it will go? He can put in sanchita, that means accumulated, or he can put in current account. So a person who is illumined, so his sanchita karma is burnt away. It will not give fruits. And kriyaman karma, that means whatever is being done, or we can say because of kriyaman karma, whatever fruits will come, that also he does not care. Because he has already lifted the clutch. So no new energy is going. Clutch is lifted.
Push the clutch.
Oh, sorry.
It's free.
Push the clutch. Okay.
Yeah, when you lift it, then it engages.
Oh, yeah. Here it is. Yeah. Here is different. Or maybe this is the universal. I have forgotten because I don't drive now. So you have understood.
Not too many people use clutches.
Okay. So like brake. If you put
But
brake.
no, the clutch is a great, it's a perfect analogy.
Okay, fine.
But it goes the other way.
Okay.
Push it down to be free.
Okay, push it down, then free. And if you lift, then it is engaged.
Yes.
So if you put down, it is free. So what the knower of self, what he does? He understands everything is happening because it is the presence of self, but he is not doing. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukta manneta tattvavet. The knower of self knows that I am not doing. then how it is happening? Though I am Pashchan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pravapan, Visrijan, Unmishan, Nimishan Napi. Though everything is happening, I am not doing. So this denial is, if you can say, that he has pressed the clutch. So it is free. It is not entering in the system. But still car goes on. Why? Because of the prarabdha karma. That means momentum of the energy that is already put into the system. You know, when a business is closed, what they do? The business is closed. So no new profit is coming. And also he has some accumulated things. So what he does? He tries to sell. Until it is sold, that shop is kept. And some dealings also happening. But it is already closed. You cannot have new things, or you cannot have like whatever you like. But whatever is there, you have to take it out. One time sell. Okay. So that's the difference between sanchita karma, accumulated karma phala or karma, and prarabdha karma, and kriyaman karma or agami karma. So there is no agami, the business is closed. No profit, new profit. And the sanchita karma is also, he has liquidated. But still some materials are there, so he's selling it out and making the space free.
The electric company sends him a bill, he has to pay, even though it's closed, he still has to pay the stuff.
That's also including that current account. Okay. Okay, so David, say something, otherwise it is monologue. David?
Are you talking to me, Swami?
No, another David.
Okay.
You are Deva. Okay, so we go forward. Avidya vritti tadatme vidyaiva vinashyatah vikshepasya swarupam tu prarabdha kshayam ikshate. Kshayam ikshate. The veiling of the real nature of the self and the identity superimposition are caused by nescience, and they are destroyed when nescience is negated. So avidya, when vidya dawns on, vidya means knowing our real self. So what happens? Nescience, avidya, not knowing things correctly, not knowing our identity correctly, that disappears, negated. But so long as the fructifying karma continues, the mind and body, the effects of illusory projection of nescience continue. It does not continue for the person. It continues apparently. And even the person may witness. So clutch is pushed down, but still car moves. So that means he may witness, but he is no more interested in anything. And then he puts a break down, no, break down, okay. Okay, maybe yes. Okay, so now I think it is clear. The veiling of the real nature of the self and the identity superimposition. So what is happening? Veiling of real nature. So what is happening in ignorant state like this? My real identity is veiled. And what happens? I have superimposed identity. Yeah, I am Swami C. I am this and that. I am David. I am Akshay. So this is superimposed on my real identity. So veiling of the real nature of the self and the identity superimposition are caused by nescience, and they are destroyed when nescience is negated. How to negate? Viveka. It is not me. I am the self. What I am speaking, etc. This is as if happening. It is happening as in my dream, as if. And when you are walking on a street, don't think that you are Brahman. Then it's a problem. So what? Even you can think, but not to, you have to behave according to the rules. Because you are driving a car, it may end up in illegal area. The veiling of the real nature of the self and the identity superimposition are caused by nescience, and they are destroyed when nescience is negated. But so long as the fructifying karma continues, the mind and body, the effects of illusory projection of nescience continue. Okay, I'll give more example. So what happens? You go to movie and something happens there and you are, say, laughing or say you are weeping because of some imagery. And you come out of that movie theater. But outside also you continue, oh, that actor did this funny thing. And you remember, you ruminate. Or, oh, that was very bad. Why this happened? Like this. So this is remaining portion remains for some time. And then you are engaged in something else, then you totally forget. Okay. Now we go forward. If there is something not clear, you may ask questions. Now, upadane vinashti shanam karya pratikshate ityahus tarkikaha tadvat asmakam kinna sambhavet. Now come doubts. Now, Tarkika. Tarkika means logicians in Indian logician. So they have various arguments. So Vedanti has to face all the arguments. So the logicians hold that when the material cause, here see what he says, as soon as dawn is a dawn of vidya happens, avidya is destroyed, but some effect continues, though there is no avidya anymore. Now logician comes with this argument. The logicians hold that when the material cause of an object has been destroyed, material cause, two things, material cause and efficient cause. Material cause means like, when a potter makes a pot. So material cause is earth or mud. And the skill by which he makes potter and his skills, that is called that karana, a material cause and efficient cause. Okay. So if the logicians hold that when the material cause of an object has been destroyed, so material is destroyed, earth is removed, or the thread of a cloth is removed, So when the material cause of an object has been destroyed, its effect continues to appear for the next moment. See, like this is their argument. Okay, if you see an object, you close your eyes, but still that image remains with you for next moment. So that's similar. Its effect continues to appear for a next moment, for the next moment. Similarly, why cannot the body of a knower of truth persist for some time when its cause, the nescience, has been destroyed? So this is the question. So that's Vaisheshika Darshana, Bhagya comment on nature like this. Now comes the answer. According to the logicians, the cloth keeps its form for the next second. The threads its material cause that last for a few days are destroyed. The thread, according to the logician, the cloth keeps its form for the next second. The threads its material cause that last for a few days are destroyed. On the same reasoning, the body may persist for a proportionately long time when its cause, the ignorance of countless ages, is destroyed. The lingering moment should be proportionate to the cause. Moreover, another illustration of this theory is found in the revolutions of the wheel, which continue even after the cause is removed. So as we said that when clutch is pressed, so still it moves. Now we go to the next. Now doubt. Vina shodha kshamam manam tairvritha parikalpyate shruti yuktanubhutya bhutibhyo vadatam kinnu dushrakam. So now doubt. The logicians have assumed the truth of this theory without any proof. Reply. We assume it as the ground of Shruti, experience and reasoning. Why should it be improper? So answer is, we have three things that we all the time say. One is Shruti. Shruti means Veda, Upanishads. What Upanishad says, that is real. It is unambiguous. Therefore, we are to honor that. Shastra. Shastram tu antam pramanam. You know what happens? Say like if you go to a court, then the pleaders, they argue and they quote. You know, from this happens, you know, they give quotation. So Shastra, even in schools also, colleges also, when somebody teaches something, so they give quotation. And this is from this book or from this book. So in local or ordinary things also we find the scriptures are quoted. Scripture means the authoritative books are quoted. So here Veda is understood as apaurushaya. Apaurushaya means not written by any human brain, not written by any human being. And it's not a product of any human brain. What it is? Rishis were pure in heart and they prayed for days in, days out. And whatever revelations came, they recorded it. Not all like writing. Writing may have some say mistakes or misunderstanding or forgetfulness, but they conveyed the same thing to their disciples. Now, how can we say this is what we are reading today in the scriptures? That is that one. In Vedic time, they discovered many ways so that they will not forget. How? It's called Ghanapat or Jatapat, various rendering. What is that? Say I'm chanting a mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanu Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Now, how they memorize this? They'll go forward, come back, come for and go forward again, come back, and 2-3 times, like Om Sahana 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 Bhavatu 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Bhunaktu Sahano. I'm just giving you an idea, but there are 10 kinds of such parts are there. Part means rendering. So there is no chance even you miss a period or comma or anything. This is a brilliant way. And even today they do, though it is written also. But that jata part, ghana part, all kinds of 10 kinds of part rendering is still going on. And not only that, they move their hands. So indication, how it should be pronounced. And in Kerala, they move like this. Children, they are trained this way. So like this, and their indication. So there is no chance of losing anything. Only we lost something which was preserved in a family. That part we lost with the extinction of that family. So the authority of Veda is primal. And it is not only in Veda. I gave you example, like in law, in say, in medical field also, they refer to, oh, what is there written there? Let me see. Then they can improve. That's a different issue. But they refer to a authoritative book. So Shruti, then Yukti, logic. See, we are using logic. All this, what I am saying, it is all logic. It happens like this. So logic, yes, Swami, yes, correct, you are correct. Clutch, though I was telling the reverse way, but you could understand that because of logic. And third, we feel also. Feel means we realize also, not feel. We realize. So anubhuti. So we have 3 tremendous instruments. That is why we're so strong. It doesn't matter how many people are following or not following. It doesn't matter at all. But we are strong. So Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. Now, the logicians have assumed the truth of this theory without any proof. Then the Siddhanti says, we assume it on the ground of Shruti, Yukti, on experience and reasoning and experience. Why should it be improper? No improperness. Okay, so time is up today. Akshay, is it okay?
Like, so animate and inanimate difference is only that animate has intellect and inanimate does not have intellect.
Okay, who is saying this? Akshay is right. How Akshay is saying? Akshay has understood this way. How Akshay has understood? Through his intellect. So all this idea of inanimate, animate, where it is? In our intellect. Okay. Let me tell again. This is seeing the things objectively. What you are saying, that is prevalent in the society, that a dog is animate. Why? Because it has asti, bhat, and asti, then called asti jayate vardhate viparinamate apakshiyate and nashati. Shadavid vikar. So suppose something is there, say a dog entity, then it takes birth, as jayate, then vardhate, it grows up. We also did the same thing. This body-mind complex also did that. So this understanding is laukika in the society. And what happens in the case of robot? It cannot produce itself. It is not born. Born means not in that sense. In a factory it was made. And then it will not grow like human being. It was like Akshay was a child. It grew. And robot is not like that. Though it may react like us, but it is not growing. So asti jayate vardhate and viparinamate. Then again, see, like we are getting old. And apakshiyate, and gradually will deteriorate. And one day will disappear. I mean, this body-mind complex, not we. Okay. So this is our laukika understanding, that social, as we say, right? But what we are saying, that this understanding is in our intellect. That we see, oh, this is animated, or this is not animated. All these perceptions are in our intellect. Okay. But our real self is not our intellect. Intellect is on the real self. Intellect is because of our real self. So intellect disappears in our deep sleep. Intellect disappears, merges in ignorance when we go to deep sleep. Right? So this is not what I'm saying. It is not social understanding is there. Social understanding is something which is born, grows gradually, and it comes to certain extent, and then gradually deteriorates, and one day it dies. So that is animate. And another is like robot. It is not born like that. It is produced as such. It does not grow. It doesn't get old. Of course, like machine becomes old. That's a different thing. But not like us. And like changes happen, and then we become crooked. All this happens. So robots are not like that. So it is not done automatic. I mean, in the system. That happens mechanically, but here it happens naturally. So these are social understanding, what you said, right? But I am talking from another perspective. All our understanding of animate, inanimate, everything is in our intellect. Intellect depends on the self. How we know? Because in deep sleep, this intellect merges in ignorance. But we are not destroyed. The self never destroyed. It is nitya, eternal, sarvagata, all-pervading. Achala, I am sanatana. It is achala, unmoving. So this is the self. So, yeah, you have to gradually absorb this. Okay. David, you are it is unfair. You're not talking anything.
Hello, Swami.
You're not saying anything. It's unfair.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear. Okay, so we'll say our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. So I could hear you, but maybe in few years time, you'll keep a AI responder. So it will say the similarly as you are saying. Of course, then also we'll understand.
Steve will help me with that.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Gurumai, namaste. James, namaste.
Namaste Maharaj.
Oh, Elizabeth is also there.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Jai
Jai Ma,
Ma.
Jai Ma. Bit, frying the brain. Elizabeth?
A little bit.
Okay.
We keep trying.
Okay, thank you. Jai Ma.